So this is lesson 3.6 for our Precalc 12 class. The unit is called Exponential and Logarithmic Equations and Functions, I guess. The lesson 6 is called E and the Natural Logarithms. In this lesson, we're going to talk about what does E stand for in math, why is it natural, and what is a natural log. So E is a non-terminating, non-repeating decimal, just like pi. So pi is like 3.1415 dot 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 dot. E is the number 2.718 dot 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 dot. But it's new, right? So it's cool. Okay, so E shows up in nature all over the place. If you look at all these pictures, we've got different kinds of things that are organic. So like we got flowers, shells, the way water moves, galaxies, hurricanes. They all have this spiral in common. And probably the hardest one to see is the sunflower. But if you look closely on the seeds of the sunflower, you can see the spiral making shape. Okay, so here's the spiral. If I take a line from the center of the spiral out, and I take these different lengths that are cut by the spiral. So this length right here, if I take this length and divide it by this length, I get 2.718 E. And if I take this inside length and divide it by the next length inside, it's also going to be 2.718 E. And that's true with any ratio on any line I draw for the spiral from the center outward. And so there's some old dead white dudes who kind of noticed this thing. We got an Italian guy who kind of built some first ideas around E, and then we got this German guy who said, "Okay, yeah, but here's some more formal definitions for E." Yeah. So, anyways, so now let's talk about natural logs. So if I have a log with a base E, so E is the base of a log, then what we call that is just the natural log. So log base E of y, we can say is the natural log of y. And we use the symbol ln to represent that kind of function. Now, it is natural log, but the L comes first and the N comes second. I don't know why that is. Don't know why that is, but that's what it is. Okay, some examples here. So if I want to solve for x, I have natural log equations. The first thing I'm going to do is I have a 2 times the natural log function minus 12 equals 0. So I'm going to take this equation and solve it for the natural log function. So I'm going to add 12 to both sides, and then I'm going to divide each side by 2. So 12 divided by 2 is 6. So the natural log of 5x plus 2 is 6. So now that I have the natural log function by itself, what I'm going to do is I'm going to turn, because I got the x value is inside the natural log function, and I want to get it out. And so I'm going to do that by rewriting this log function as a exponential function. So the natural log is just log base e, and then of some x equals y. So instead of x, we have 5x plus 2. And instead of y, we have 6. So I'm going to rewrite this natural log as e to the power of 6 is equal to 5x plus 2. And so remember, e is just some number. It's not a variable. It's 2.718. So it's just like pi. So this is some number to the power of 6 is equal to 5x plus 2. Now I can use some basic algebra to solve for x. First I'm going to subtract 2 from each side of the equation. So because I don't really know what e to the power of 6 is decimal-wise, I'm just going to leave it as e to the power of 6 minus 2. And then when I divide each side by 5, because I didn't evaluate the e to the power of 6 minus 2, I'm just going to leave that as a fraction over 5. And on a quiz type scenario, this will be our final answer. We'll box it and call it good. If you wanted a decimal answer or you needed a decimal answer, then you could type this into your calculator. There is an E button on your calculator, just like there's a pi button. And you can put that to the power of 6. You can subtract 2, And then whatever you get from the difference, you can divide by 5. All right, so this is just another example, same procedure. We're going to isolate for the log function. Subtract 3 from each side, and then divide each side by 6. So negative 6 divided by 6 is going to be negative 1. Now we have our natural log function isolated. So we'll turn it into an exponential function. So the base e to the power of negative 1 is going to be equal to 5x plus 2. Subtract 2 from each side, and then divide each side by 5. Here's our final answer. Okay, takeaways. So e is just a constant, just like pi, and it occurs in nature. And if I have a log with a base e, we call it a natural log. And hopefully after these examples and the homework assignment, you have a little more confidence with working with logarithms.